I'm good. How are you? Good. Um, well, this morning, again, I'm Aaron from Heartland Counseling. In case you haven't seen me on here before, today's Talk About It Tuesdays, and today I'm going to be sharing some information with everybody about sleep hygiene. Um, and sleep hygiene is one of those concepts that we don't always think about. It's something that we don't always. We know that we need sleep, but we don't ever never can seem to get enough of it. Um, Particularly when we're teens. I know I could sleep for hours and hours when I was in high school. Um, so yeah, we're just talk a little bit about some of the ways that we can kind of improve our sleep, and some of the benefits of improving our sleep, and a couple of strategies just to kind of help, like if you're having a hard time falling asleep, just some different things that you might be able to do that don't require, um, any medication, going to the doctor, anything like that. Um, So first off, we'll just kind of define what sleep hygiene is. Um, Sleep hygiene is just kind of like every other kind of hygiene. Like we talk about good oral hygiene, good health hygiene. Just keeping ourselves clean, keeping ourselves healthy. Um, with sleep, we want to do the same. We want to have like a clean and safe environment that we can go to sleep in. Um, we want to try to do it, try to go to sleep around the same time every night to kind of get our bodies into a natural rhythm. Um, I read some research where one gentleman that was a sleep researcher would stop what he was doing and go to bed at 10 o'clock every night, no matter what he was doing. I know that's not always reasonable for everybody, because I certainly can't do that. But from what I've read on other sites, 2 to 3 hour variance, like Monday through Friday and on the weekends, from the time that you go to bed to the time that you get up. Um, and then for teens, they recommend that you get 9 hours of sleep. Um, and that's not always, I know it's not always possible. You will wind up sometimes with what's called a sleep deficit. Um, so if you only get 7 hours on Monday night, you might try to go to bed earlier the next night and kind of make up that sleep deficit, or over the weekend, you know, sleep in a little bit longer and try to make up some of that sleep deficit. And that can help with a lot of different things. Sleep can really affect our mood, can affect our anxiety levels, um, our overall health, um, as well as just our motivation and our energy for things. I mean, that kind of goes back to the mood thing. But I mean, if we don't get enough sleep, then we're more likely to be short with people, um, having a harder time focusing, especially in classes. Uh, Things that we just don't might not enjoy, but we know we have to get done, but we just aren't able to focus on that. Um, and if we don't get enough sleep, then our body doesn't get enough chance to rest, and we're less able to, like, our immune system is going to be less able to fight off infections and viruses. And something that's on everybody's mind right now is keeping away from being sick. um, Otherwise we wouldn't be doing everything over the computer right now. So sleep is very important. um, and it is okay to, like, if you find yourself tired during the day, to just take a nap. I got this website pulled up. Hopefully everybody can see this. It's sleepfoundation.org, and it's a really good site. Just some really basic information on there. That's where um, some of the stuff that I've gotten is from. And I've struggled with sleep myself a lot, and I found different ways to kind of help myself to fall asleep at night. But this is something that I really think is a good resource too. Like, if you do need to take a nap, try to limit it to about 20 to 30 minutes during the day. Just 20-30 minute power nap sometimes can just give you that extra push that you need during the day, just to kind of get through the rest of it. Everybody gets tired around a certain time of day. It's just our natural circadian rhythm. Like, that's our sleep rhythm. Um, it can kind of change, like, with the seasons and stuff like that. But generally, we have kind of a natural rhythm, like where For a lot of people, it's around 3 o'clock that we start to get tired, and then kind of get like a burst later in the day. Um, this is something that I need to work on myself is avoiding stimulants such as caffeine closer to bedtime. Um, I drink way too much Coke, um, so I probably, if I cut that down, I'd probably have less trouble sleeping. But it's not a perfect world, so it's just not happening anytime soon. But I will stand here and be the hypocrite and tell people to stop drinking so much caffeine and things like that before they go to bed. Um, Getting exercise, like going for a brisk walk, if you've got like a stationary bike, um, some kind of exercise equipment in your home, just doing that for about 10, 15 minutes a day can really help. Um, just kind of relieve some of that stress. It might help you fall asleep easier at night. Um, Trying to avoid eating heavy foods before you go to bed, anything sweet, um, spicy, anything that certain foods might cause, like heartburn, or they might kind of wake you up a little bit, or they might also just kind of give you strange dreams and you won't get very good sleep. Um, then make sure that there's enough natural light in the house. Um, if you've got like if you have your blinds open during the day and close them at night, then it tells our body, like, okay, it's daytime and I can see the sunlight. Like we get that, our body starts to process vitamin D from um, the sunlight, and that just helps give us energy. And then when the sun goes down, then our body's gonna see that, and our brain's going to just kind of react appropriately and um, start to give us like more melatonin, which is something that helps us sleep at night. Like it's a natural, something that our brain produces and um, helps us to fall asleep at night and stay asleep. Um, and this one is very important to me, at least. These last two are very important to me, at least. Um, it's establishing a regular, relaxing bedtime routine. Um, every night, like I go through kind of the same process. Like around a certain time of night, like I start to get ready for bed. Um, it varies by about an hour most nights. When I finally do decide to go to bed, I turn everything off. I put my cell phone down. I've got it nearby in case I need it, but otherwise it's on vibrate, and you know, I'm not staring at it because the blue light on there can kind of trick your brain into thinking that it's daytime, and it makes it more difficult for you to sleep. That's why they recommend that you turn your devices off. Some people say an hour before you go to bed. It's it varies from person to person again, I believe. Um, but something that you can do for yourself that will help you to recognize that it's bedtime, and that's going to look different for everybody. For me, it's like I just kind of get ready, go in my room, turn on the fan because I like to have the white noise in the background. Grab a book and just read for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I just get up and turn the light off and go to bed. Um, and that usually works for me. But that's something that I've practiced for a long time. Um, and the other one is making sure that the sleep environment is pleasant. Like if it's too hot, if it's too cold, if you're able to adjust that at all, like turn a fan on like I do, take blankets off, put blankets on, whatever you need to do to make it more comfortable for you to be able to sleep in, um, is ideal. It's just because, yeah, if it's too hot or it's too cold, then it's going to be difficult for people to sleep. Um, and then the last thing that I was going to talk about is just kind of some interventions or kind of some tools that you can use to um, help fall asleep at night. Like if you're having a hard time um, just calming down, or like running through the day, things like that. Like I ran into this myself last night. Um, like I was just overthinking about something and I couldn't get it out of my head. And finally, I just um, started to focus on my breathing. And for some people, taking deep breaths, just in through your nose and then you want to have like your belly come up and then just blow out through your mouth, and that's kind of like the diaphragmatic breathing, and that stimulates your vagus nerve and kind of helps send endorphins, so that way it helps calm me down a little bit. So people find that really helpful. Um, Other people don't. And one method, I'm one of those people that I don't always find that very helpful, but I have found other methods. I'd still focus on my breathing, but instead of focusing on like doing the deep breathing, I just focus on like how many breaths I'm taking. On average, people breathe between 16 and 20 times a minute. I know this because I was a nurse before I did all this. Um, and so I just find myself just counting, like just using my hand like one, two, like each inhale and exhale. And if you can focus on that, like once it gets 20, then just start over. It's like if you can do that just for a minute at a time, then that can kind of help to take your focus off of what's been bothering you. Um, and it might be able to help you fall asleep a little bit better. I know that it's something that I personally used and it works well for me because my brain doesn't stop talking when I want to go to bed at night, because I'm just an anxious person, and I just have had to find ways to kind of soothe that, and my anxiety kind of gets worse at night when I go to bed. So that's one healthy alternative to keeping that down. Um, yeah, I think that's all that I had to talk about with sleep. Um, yeah, that's all I got for sleep. You're welcome. All right, sounds good. Everybody take care. Hmm?